जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय
Hare
श्री
Krishna,
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is Sunday, 26th of November. It is Kartik Masa or Damodara Masa. Shukla Paksham, Chaturdasi Tithi, and today there are few events. One is disappearance day of Sri Bhugarbha Goswami, and also disappearance day of Sri Kashishwara Pandita, and also it is the last day of Chaturmasya, and also it is fourth day of Bhishma Panchaka. So about the disappearance day of two great devotees. So Sri Kashishwara Pandita Goswami had a temple near Sri Rampura at Chatara. Mahaprabhu sent him to Vrindavana later on in his life. His disciple was Sri Govinda Gosai, the Pujari of Sri Govinda Deva. When Srila Rupa Goswami discovered Sri Govinda Deva's Sri Vigraha at Gomatitila, he immediately sent word to Mahaprabhu at Puri. Mahaprabhu in turn requested Sri Kashishwara Pandita to go to Vrindavana. Kashishwara, however, expressed that to have to give up your association will cause my heart to be split into two. Therefore, please consider how can I honor your request without giving up my life. Mahaprabhu could understand the heart of Kashishwara and therefore he gave him a self-manifested deity of himself. Mahaprabhu sat down along with this Vigraha and accepted prasad at which Kashishwara's faith was kindled. Mahaprabhu intimated to him with this deity and established him on the right side of Sri Govinda Deva. Then he began to serve them with great love. And there are further pastimes of Kashishwara Gosai, and then another devotee, Sri Bhugarbha Goswami. So his disappearance day. So there are few lines as well. As there is not much mention of Sri Lokanath Goswami in Vaishnava literature, similarly, there is not much mention of either of Sri Bhugarbha Goswami, who was his very close friend. Following Mahaprabhu's order, they both came to live at Vrajadam. Their hearts were inseparable. Sri Bhugarbha Goswami was the disciple of Sri Gadadhar Pandit. He in turn had a number of disciples, namely Sri Chaitanya Das, the Pujari of Sri Govinda Deva, Sri Mukundananda Chakravarti, Premi Krishnadas, etc. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, Sri Bhugarbha Goswami's identity as Prema Manjari in Krishna Leela has been given. His disappearance is on the 14th day of bright fortnight in the month of Kartik. His samadhi is near the samadhi of Sri Rupa Goswami within the courtyard of Sri Radha Damodara temple. Srila Bhugarbha Goswami and Sri Lokanath Goswami were one only, their bodies were different. The 11th branch of Gadadhara Goswami was Bhugarbha Goswami and the 12th was Bhagavata Dasa. Both of them went to Vrindavana and resided there for life. And there are further information about these great souls. I shall share in the WhatsApp group. That is from the Vaishnava events perspective. So we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Saunakadi sages they're praising Sudha Goswami because he is glorifying Krishna and he is saying Krishna Katha. It is so pleasingly to the Saunakadi sages. So they were saying, even though their bodies were turned into black, but still they are hearing Krishna Katha. It is just like a nectar to them. It is Machanam Amritam Hinaha. It is Amritam nectar. So, Sutta Goswami, you live longer. So the association of a pure devotee, it is not even comparable to the liberation itself. What to speak of heavenly and the earthly material comforts. So likewise, they have been saying, Tulayamalavenapi nasvargham na apunadbhavam bhagavad sangi sangasya machanam kimutashishaha. Likewise, they are glorifying the association of a pure devotee. And further, Saunakadi sages, they are saying about the glorification of the Krishna Katha. So they are saying Krishna Katha is so pleasing. Krishna Katha is so pleasing, and it is the only shelter for the pure devotees of Krishna. And Krishna and Krishna's lotus feet, all his opulences, that is the only shelter for all the devotees. So that's why they are always hearing Krishna Katha. Like Lord Shankara, Brahma, these are all great Yogeshwaras. They are the controllers of the universe. But Krishna is the supreme controller. And even such kind of Brahma and Lord Shankara, they are very interested, always pleasing to hear Krishna Katha all the time. So, because of that glories, we are not satiated to hear Krishna Katha. Likewise, Saunakadi sages are encouraging Sutta Goswami to say more and more and more, very beautifully. So, we are in the first canto, chapter 80, verse number 14. को नाम तृप्येद्रसवित्कथायां महत्तम एकान्तपरायणस्य नानन्तं गुणानाम् अगुणस्य जग्मुः योगेश्वराये भवपाद्ममुख्याः को नाम तृप्येद्रसवित्कथायां. So ko nama, who will trupyet, and who will be satisfied with full satisfaction just with a little bit. Ko nama trupyet rasavit kathayam. If he is attached to Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha, he will never be satiated. He wanted to hear all the time. Rasavit Kathayam. Rasavit is the expert in relishing mellow nectar. Mellows. And Kathayam in the topics of Krishna. Konama Trupped Rasavit Kathayam. He is the Rasavit. So devotees are always Rasavit. They know the mellows of how to relish Krishna Katha. Mahattama Ekanta Parayanasya. And what is that Krishna Katha? It is the greatest among, and so here, here further it is Mahattama. Here, so the Saunakadi sages are saying the greatest among the living beings, Ekanta Parayanasya, and exclusively of one who is the shelter of. So Mahattama Ekanta Parayanasya. Nanantam gunanam agunasya jagmuhu. Na anantam, it is never ending. Gunanam, all the qualities of Krishna. Gunanam, of all attributes. Aguna, gunanam agunasya jagmuhu. Agunasya is the of the transcendental, beyond the material modes of nature. Agunasya jagmuhu, they cannot ascertain. They cannot ascertain. Nanantam gunanam agunasya jagmuhu. Who are all? These are all Mahattamas, the greatest among the living beings. And who are they? Yogeshwaraye Bhavapadma Mukhyaha. Yogeshwaras. Yogeshwaras are A Bhava is Lord Shankara, Padma, Brahma who came from the lotus flower, Padma, Bhava, Padma Mukhyaha, they're the greatest. They're all Mahatamas. And so they're all what they have taken Ekanta Parayanasya. They have taken the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to hear, because they are Rasvits. They're always wanted to hear, and they will never ever be satiated to hear Krishna Katha. So likewise, Savanakadi sages are saying, even Brahma and Brahma, Lord Shankara, they are not satisfied to hear Krishna Katha with a little bit. They wanted to hear all the time. It is never satiated. And what to speak of us? We are all Mathyas. We wanted to hear again and again. Likewise, they are glorifying Krishna Katha. And also, they are saying indirectly about the Rasivits. They wanted to hear more, encouraging Sudha Goswami. को नाम तृप्येद् रसवित् कथायां महत्तम एकांत परायणस्य नान्तं गुणानाम् अगुणस्य जग्मुः योगेश्वराये भवपाद्ममुख्याः. So translation for this verse: the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter of all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? So it is very beautifully Saunakadi sages are saying, and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are two chief of the demigods. They are full of mystic powers. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison, of which one drop was sufficient to kill an ordinary living being. Similarly, Brahma could create many powerful demigods, including Lord Shiva. So they are Ishwaras, or lords of the universe, but they are not the supreme powerful. The supreme powerful is Govinda, Lord Krishna. He is the transcendence, and his transcendental attributes cannot be measured even by such powerful Ishwaras as Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the exclusive shelter of the greatest of all living beings. Brahma is counted among us the living beings, but he is the greatest of all of us. And why is the greatest of all the living beings so much attached to the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna? Because he is the reservoir of all enjoyment. Everyone wants to relish some kind of taste in everything, but one who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can derive unlimited pleasure from such engagement. The Lord is unlimited, and his name, attributes, pastimes, entourage, variegatedness, etc. are unlimited. And those who relish them can do so unlimitedly and still not feel satiated. This fact is confirmed in the Padma Purana. Ramante yogino anante satyananda chidatmani iti Rama padenashu padena asau paramam brahma abhidhiyate. Paramam brahma abhidhiyate. So that's why his name is Rama. So the translation for that was, the mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. That is, Ramante Yogino Anante Satyananda Chidatmani Iti Rama Padena Asau Param Brahma Abhidhiyate. So Param Brahma is also called as Rama, because he is the source of all the pleasure. And there is no end to such transcendental discourses. In mundane affairs, there is the law of satiation, but in the transcendence, there is no such satiation. Suta Goswami desired to continue the topics of Lord Krishna before the sages of Naimisharanya. And the sages also expressed their readiness to hear from him continuously, since the Lord is transcendent and his attributes are transcendental. Such discourses increase the receptive mood of the purified audience. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is very, very beautiful purport. So in this one, when Parikshit was hearing Krishna Katha from Sukadeva Goswami, he was saying that I'm not feeling thirsty or hunger. So he was all the time without sleeping, day and night, continuously hearing 7 days from Sukadeva Goswami. So Saunakadi sages, they already know Krishna Katha. So the Goswami, so they're already on the one level. So they're all pure devotees of Krishna. But still, when the great souls coming together, sitting together to discuss the topics of Krishna, then everything will be more relishable. So here Savanakadi sages, they say, we are Rasavit Katayam. So we are not Ko Nama Trupet, who will be satisfied or who will be satiated to hear Krishna Katha. And they are comparing with the even Brahman and Lord Shankara. They are all not satisfied at all to hear Krishna Katha. So, I mean, not satiated at all to hear Krishna Katha. They wanted to hear more and more and more. So, Krishna's pastimes are wonderful. Brahma says, Naham Nayoyam Yad Naham Nayoyam. He says to Narada Muni, his pastimes are all bewildering, even Lord Shankara and myself, and what to speak of all the demigods. That's why Yasya Karmani Gunaihi, all the time we have to glorify him without any gap. That's why we do not understand. So they're always relishing everything. Why it is happening like that? Every time is a kind of a anxiety. It's transcendental anxiety. It is unlimited. Okay, so that is from this purport, very beautiful purport. So this is your Ramante Yogino Anante Satchananda Chidatmani Iti Rama Padena Asau Param Brahmam Abhidhiyate. That is Param Brahma is called Rama. Okay, very beautiful. And those who relish these Krishna's pastimes, they can do unlimitedly and still not feel satiated. This fact is confirmed in the Padma Purana. So that's why devotees, they're always in the happy mood. The material things, they will come and go. They're not permanent. But this one is always, it is not disturbed when one is engaged in the devotional service. Okay, so that is from, there is so much of thing to discuss, to go into the topics, but we stop here. कोनाम तृप्येद् रसवित् कथायां महत्तम एकांत परायणस्य नान्तं गुणानाम् अगुणस्य जग्मुः योगेश्वराये भवपाद्म मुख्याः भवपाद मुख्याः. So Lord Shankara and Brahma, they are all Yogeshwaras. They are not satiated to hear Krishna Katha. So that is from Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is letter to Hayagriva, November 7th, 1969, London. It is a small letter only, not too big. Can I request any dear devotees to read this letter?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother, please.
My dear Hare, sorry. My dear Hayagriva, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated October 29, 1969 and noted the contents. Things are going on nicely in every department and it is very encouraging. But as I have already told you, your first business is to see about the publication of my books. I have already advised Satsvarupa and Brahmananda in this connection, and they will take the necessary care for it. I want to know if nectar of devotion is coming along at proper play or proper pace. So you will kindly manage in Columbus that the printing matters are substantially ready for the press. The press may not sit idly for want of printing matters. Then it will be very nice from all sides. Pradyumna is in charge of making the uh, diacritic marks nicely. So I shall be glad to know if he is doing that work according to plan. Recently, I received one letter from Arundhati that she wants to work very hard. So Shyamadasi should also do this as it was previously programmed. The main point is that the press should not sit down for want of printing matter. That you will kindly manage. As you write that you cannot find suitable work in Boston, you stick to Columbus and give sufficient time to your editing work. Please also take care of the children. They are our future hopes, and the adolescent age is the most dangerous age. It is the turning point of one's life. In this age, if you take care of the children, surely they will come out first class Krishna consciousness devotees. Regarding publishing article from the harmonist after the departure of my Guru Maharaj, so many nonsense things have been written. So we should know who has written these articles. Articles written by my Guru Maharaj can be published without any hesitation, but articles written by Professor Sanyal after 1936, they are not at all good. Please offer my blessings to the others. I hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher is Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Any takeaway points, Mataji, from this letter?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is writing here that regarding the publication of books mainly, and how important it is to publish the books and printing as well. Printing has to go on continuously, and in this letter he is mentioning about his Guru Maharaj's work, which was not, I think, what I understood in here is it was not published as it is, how it was written. So Srila Prabhupada is not quite happy with that. So he was happy if it was published as it is. And also Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about the children, their future of Krishna consciousness. If they are guided in nice way, and they will become first class devotees, and they will help in spreading the Krishna consciousness. And also Prabhupada is mentioning about Mataji, Su Mataji, Shama Devi, and Arundhati Mataji. So they wanted to work hard, and so I think this is our desire. Srila Prabhupada is explaining here how if we have a strong desire, so we can help in spreading KC. So I think that is what I understood, probably the main points.
Thank you, Mataji. So beautifully summarized. Any takeaway points, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just wanted to say like about the books. Like I feel like it's really sad that so many of Srila Prabhupada's books have been changed a little bit, because I don't know, it's just a feeling, and we should try to protect like Srila Prabhupada's we should all really try to like think what Srila Prabhupada would want us to do and act in a manner that is pleasing to him, because he sacrificed so much, and he spent not just sacrifice, but
Yes, Mataji. So this one also came into previously discussion in our Sangha.
Yeah.
One of the Prabhupada disciples, he has spoken in our Sangha about this one, changing of Prabhupada's books. It is, but however, when we have observed it, everything is happening under the will of the Supreme Lord. But actually, it is not deviating. Sometimes some statements are not there, but it is under JBC control only. All these books are also printing by the book Bhaktivedanta Book Trust is going under JBC. Whenever something is going on very big, that means it is everyone knows that all the senior gurus and the Prabhupada disciples, they are aware of it, what is going on. Without any supervision, it doesn't get changed. So later on, we have come to know that it is very few lines, but which is not that much impact is also without changing the meaning of it. And still they are rooting the mood of a devotee towards Krishna, nearer to Krishna, sticking to the Prabhupada's principles only. That is the only we have seen at the time as part of the discussion with one of Prabhupada's disciples. When he has raised these concerns. We have discussed this one in a couple of sessions, and later on we have concluded that yes, everything is going under the GBC control and the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust and all the Prabhupada's disciples with agreement, and it is not changing the actual meanings of the Srila Prabhupadas, and not changing the mood of a devotee. So based on that, we have concluded and came to understand that everything is going with the Krishna's will, and then we didn't get into so much of discussions later on.
and obviously the fact that children are the future, like that's so like prevalent in a lot of Srila Prabhupada's work. Like he wants that they're going to be the people that are going to be holding the torch going forward. So we should like prepare them in the best possible way, so that they can be Krishna conscious and they can have the right, the right environment and the right kind of support and cushion in place, so that they can kind of flourish in their Krishna consciousness. So I think Srila Prabhupada is so futuristic, and he's always thinking about the future of Krishna consciousness, and yeah, just again, it just shows how how thoughtful he is, and yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. So that is very beautiful. It is in the hand of mothers. When the mother is giving birth to Krishna conscious children and raising according to the Krishna standards, such kind of mother gives birth to maybe 10 children. It is very wonderful to spread Krishna consciousness. That is in the hands of mothers, and the father has to facilitate all such kind of things. That is in the parents' hands. And Prabhupada is stressing when they are the hope of our children. Yes, Mataji, you're right. And they are our future hopes. So that's
the fact that the adolescent age, I think we were talking about this the other day, that it's the turning point. Like if at that point they're supported the most, that's when the biggest impact will happen. Because when they're young, everything's kind of flows anyway, it's quite natural. But the adolescent age is when there's so much other influence that is taking over in their life. And that's the age that makes or breaks them. So I think we were talking about this yesterday with another Mataji, and if we can help these children during their adolescence age, and they have someone to come to, because that's the age when the ego will develop, and issue, they're kind of breaking that kind of natural bond with their parent. That is the time they need the most kind of boundary setting, but also in a very loving way, so that if it's done properly, then the children, they won't, because they have so much influence outside as well, especially, they remain safe, and still cushioned, and protected, I suppose that's the right word, in that adolescent age, so that then they can, as they get older, and then the kind of wits come back into them, they can be even more kind of powerful in their preaching, etc. And not just their preaching, it's not just about, I think it's about for them as people as well. And that individual needs to be protected, and then therefore it helps them with the other parts of their journey, because then they're more stable, they're more, I don't know what the right word is, but they're more, they're more like whole. It's like they haven't neglected any part of themselves. They understand what's happening, and they're able to navigate their life better at that stage, because it is turbulent. It's turbulent, like adolescence is turbulent, so even chemically and biologically it's turbulent. So like spiritually it's going to be turbulent, and that's where there's so much um there's so much it, there's so much outside influence, and whatever's inside you is naturally going to reflect outside. So it's the stage, I think, where children, especially going into adolescence, is when it's a very exploring stage. It's the stage where people rebel. So if we protect that sort of stage, it will really help that particular group to flourish, because with children it's quite easy to tell them something and they'll accept it, but with adolescents they kind of start questioning more. And that's a really, because I remember being, I was very turbulent, so that I think that's really important that they're protected at that stage. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, so that is the adolescent age is very sensitive period. We need to give more attention to the children, somewhere that they're not affected. And yeah, thank you, Mataji, for highlighting that point. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I just wanted to add something like Prabhupada's book correction. So it was like in last week I also heard the same thing. So in the Nectar of this instruction book, the new edition, the I'm sorry, Prabhupada was mentioned something like the deity should be worshipped with flowers, water, and it in the old edition was like written like saintly article. So in new it is like centered article. So the question was raised why Prabhupada's books was corrected. So that Prabhu was explaining like Prabhupada instructed that my book should be 100% correct. So there should not be no grammatical error, no diacritic errors. It should be 100% correct. So my should be 100% perfect. That instruction Prabhupada gave, and Prabhupada gave the right to his disciple to correct the grammatical error, and if there is any vocabulary error, Prabhupada gave that right to the disciples. And apart from that, in the older days, Prabhupada recorded all these books, and the disciples type roll that. So Prabhupada's accent was correct Bengali accent, so they could not, they all are Western people, so they could not understand what Prabhupada was actually meant certain terms. So because of that accent, they could not understand, so they typed what they understood. So that's what some words was misplaced or some small place. But Prabhupada, as Prabhupada instructed them to give 100% perfect thing, so they are allowed to do. And GBC, whenever they edit something, they post the original audio along with the transcript in the, I think, GBC editor website or somewhere. they provide all the evidences like the Prabhupada's original audio and Prabhupada's, if it was written like Prabhupada's original handwritten document, and why they corrected it like that. They give justification for every correction they did. So it is like a collaborative, as you mentioned, it's a GBC's entire collaborative approach, because they want to present our books 100% perfectly to the audience. So there is nothing, as you said, there is the meaning and the aim is not at all changed, only to perfect our things in a perfect way. We are doing that. So that's, I just wanted to share. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, last year, it is last year, I think around 16 months back, Prabhupada is one of the senior disciples who has been in the Krishna consciousness for 50 years. Prabhuji was mentioning about that. He was concerned, but later on, that Prabhuji has been agreed. He also came to conclusion that meaning is not changed. And then later on, we stopped that discussion. Thank you.
No, I agree, and thank you for like clarifying that. I really do appreciate that. Because I have heard this, and I know there's a lot of people that are upset about it. And so that's just the reason I'm saying it. But the other thing is that even from Bengali to English, the translation, just a Bengali speaker meaning of a word, or someone from India, it's going to be deeper, and their realizations, like if it's a real devotee, it's going to be deeper, and it's going to have more meaning to it. So depending at what stage you're reading it, I sort of agree that the English language isn't appropriate sometimes for what it means in Sanskrit or in Bengali or in especially in the more kind of Vedic languages, because it doesn't the purification is not, I mean, English language can't express that. So
yeah, that is true. But here, what we need to know from the books and from standardization perspective, from the GBC, Krishna Conscious International Society Standard. So it is the wider audience, and also somewhere or other to bring best. It may not be 100% exactly like the mood of a Bengali understanding or mood of a different languages. They have got different relishes. Each language has got a relishing mellows, but they don't have equivalent in English. English is just a plain thing. It's a business language. It's not a relishable language. Sanskrit, it has got 100% meaning, and that is where those feelings and moods, and they will manifest. So, but we need to see the audience, as well as Mataji has said. But we need to take whatever is best option if possible. And then it is, but that is also going on under GBC. We do not have to worry about anything about it. We just simply follow what is in the books. That's as simple as that. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, we're already 10 minutes past 7 o'clock. So from the announcements point of view, so tomorrow is going to be the last day of Bhishma Panchaka. So very auspicious thing. So Bhishma's prayers, I also request dear devotees to read Bhishma's, the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto. There are very beautiful prayers, and Bhishma's instruction, how he in the mood when even about to leave his body, he was worshipping Krishna. As soon as Krishna came there, Kridistam Pujayamasa Maya Upata Vigraham. Even he was not able to offer standing up and offering with hands, but just time and place and circumstances, he offered his prayers, and then he spoke few words to Yudhishthira. They are very, very powerful things. So they one of these things. Yeshwai Bhagavan Sakshat Adjo Narayana Puman Mohin Maya Lokam Godachariti Vrishnishu. Krishna is the source of the Adjo Narayana, and he is bewildering all these people. Even when he is appearing in the family of Vrishni dynasty. So likewise, after that, he has given few instructions यं मन्यसे मातुलें प्रियं मित्रं सुहृत्तमं अकरोः सचिवं धूतं सौहृदात् अथ सारथिम्. So Krishna, he has acted just like your cousin and like your friend and a dear friend, well-wisher, and also your messenger and also chariot driver. So you are thinking like that, but he is Sarvatmanaha Samadrushohi. He is also he is the person who is existing in all the living entities. Advayasya anahangkrutehe tatkrutam ativaishamyam nirvajyasya nakvachit. Whatever he does, there is no nirvajyasya nakvachit, no mati vaishamyam. There is no discrimination. He has equally acted to all the living entities, which is auspicious too. And that Krishna has come to this particular moment whenever I am leaving my body. Tatapi ekanta bhakteshu pasya bhopanukampitam yenmi asun chaditaha sakshat Krishna darshanamagataha. The Supreme Lord has come to me when I am leaving this body. So see how he is merciful towards me. Bhishma is telling to Yudhishthira at that time. And he says, Bhaktavesha mano yasmin vacha yannama kirtayan chajan kalevaram yogi mutyate kama karma bihi. And whoever is all the time just Bhaktavesha mano yasmin, keeping Krishna in his mind, vacha yannama kirtayan, and speaking and also glorifying Krishna, and he is leaving the body. He is completely free from this material world, and he requested the Lord. So, oh my dear Lord, Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Yavaditam Hinomyaham Prasannaha Saranalochano Ullasad Mukambujo Janapataha Chaturbujaha. So I wanted to see that Lord in his four-handed form with the Prasannahasa Arnalochana Ullasad Mukambujo Janapataha Chaturbujaha, with very pleasant face and with lotus eyes. I wanted to see that Krishna in front of me when I am leaving this body. So he desired. So Kalevaram Yavadinam Hinomyaham, during the leaving of my body, I wanted to see that Lord. And then further he was saying to Yudhishthira, he asked Krishna, you stay here Krishna when I am leaving this body. And then meanwhile he has given instructions to Yudhishthira about the dana, about different kinds of dharmas and vairagya rag upadibhyam amnato ubhayalakshanan dana dharman rajadharman moksha dharman vibhagashah Sri dharman bhagavad dharman samasa vyasa yogatah. He has spoken all kinds of dharmas to Yudhishthira. And then like dharmadam kama mokshamsha sahopayan yatamuni nanakyan itihasheshu varnayamasa tatvavit, with the examples of all the historical and from all the Puranas. By giving examples, he explained dharma, the kama, moksha. And then, so by the time when he explained, the time has come. That time, what is that time? Yo yogin chandana mrityo vanchitastu uttarayanaha. This is Uttarayana. Now it is Sukla Paksham, Uttarayana. And it is the Purnami is coming tomorrow. This is Yo Yogena Chandana Mrityo, who are desiring to die on particular moment. They choose. Here Bhishma has got that time to choose. Dharmam pravadaha tasya sakalaha prati upastitaha. They can choose whenever they can leave. The Krishna also mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita. Agni Jyotiraha Suklaha Shanma Sa Uttarayanam. And when the time has come, Bhishma stopped speaking, and then Tadopasampritya Giraha Sahasranihi Vimukta Sangam Mana Adi Purushe, completely detached from all these material things, and he stopped speaking to Yudhishthira. Later on, Krishne Lasat Pet Pate Chaturbhuje Purasthite Amilita Drug Vyadharayat. Krishna is standing within his Pitavasa with four hands. Krishne Lasat Pet Pate Chaturbhuje Purasthite Amilita Drug Vyadharayat. When Krishna is standing in front of Bhishma Dev, then Bhishma completely free from all kinds of painful situations, material contaminations, and then he started glorifying Krishna. Vishuddhaya dharanaya hata shubhaha tadiksha evashu gataida shramaha Nivritta Sarvendriya Vritti Vibhramaha Tustavajanyam Visujan Janardhanam. He was started glorifying. So iti mati rupakalpita vitrushna bhagavati satvata pungave vibhumni swasukumpakate kvachit vihattam prakrutim upeshyad bhapravaha. So yesterday our devotees have recited these verses very beautifully. So that Lord, He will come to this material world for swasukum upakate kvachit vihattam, to spend time with His devotees. So I am let my mind is completely thinking of that particular Lord. And Tribhunakamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram Dadhani Vapurulaka Kulavrutanabhyam Vijay Sakira Tirastumena Vadhyam. The Lord is like a Tamalavarna tree, and Ravikara Gauravarambaram. So he is like very beautifully glorifying by Bhishmadev. Vijay Sake, he is being called as a Vijay Sake, Arjuna's friend. Ratirastu Menavadhya, and let my mind completely absorb in the thoughts of that Arjuna Sake, Vijay Sake. And then further he says, Yudituraga Rajo Vidumra Vishwa Kachalulata Sramavarlam Krutasye Mama Nisita Seriri Vividhamana Kachivalasat Kavachestu Krishnatma. When the Lord, he was in the battlefield, his body was dusted by the horses, the dust coming from the horse legs. It is falling on his body, and his hair was scattered, and I'm using my sharp arrows, and his body was just poked with all these arrows. At the time, the Lord was very, very beautifully seen. Mama Nisita Serit Vividhamana Tvachi Velasat Kavachestu Krishnatma. I have covered Krishna's body with all of my arrows. Let my mind absorb in that Krishna, who is always Bhaktavatsala. Sapadi Sakivajo Nisemya Madhye Nijapariyor Bhaliyo Ratam Nivesya Sitavati Parasanikuhu Akshna Pratavati Pardasake Ratir Mamastu. That Lord standing between the two armies, and he has reduced the lifespan of all the soldiers in the opposite direction. Let my mind observe in that Pardasake Ratir Mamastu. And then further he says, Vyavahita Tutnamukum Niriksha Swajanavadat Vimukasya De Dhosha Buddhya Kumati Maharad Atma Vidyayaya Janarati Paramasya Tasya Mestu. When the Arjuna was bewildered whether to fight or not with his family and friends at that time with the Dosha Buddhya, and then what Krishna has done, Kumati Maharad Atma Vidyayaya. Arjuna was like a Kumati at the time. He has given Atma Vidyaya. And Charanati Paramasya Tasya means to let my mind absorb and completely unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Charanati Paramasya Tasya means to Swanigamam Apaya Matpratignam Prutamadi Kattum Aupluto Ratastaha Duttaratana Charno Abhyayatilat Guhu Harideva Hantamibam Gatottariyaha. And leaving his vow, and also he just jumped from his chariot and taking the Drutarata Charana Abhyat Yachaladguhu Harireva Hantabivam Gatottariyaha, just like a lion taking the wheel of a chariot, jumped and coming towards me to kill me. At the time, Gatottariyaha, his Uttariyam also fall down. So see, and this is only to fulfill my vow. Matpratignam Swanigamam Apahaya, his vow is just kept aside. Matpratignam Rutam Adikattum Aupluto Ratastaha, just to fulfill my desire. That is all. The pastime is so beautiful. We see the picture. And then further, Bhishmadev is remembering that beautiful situation. Sita Visika Hato Vishina Damshaha Kyataja Paripluta Adatayuno me Prasabam Abhisasar Madbhadardam Sabhavutami Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. And the Lord body was blooded with the arrows of Bhishmadev. Chataja Paripluta Adatayuno me. At the time, Lord was to kill Bhishmadev, took this wheel and then Prasabam Abhisasar Madbhadardam to kill me. Bhishma is saying, to kill me, Lord has taken that and he's jumped from this chariot and coming towards me to kill. And I wanted to, Sabhautami Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. I wanted to remember that Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at the time I acted just like a Atatai. So, but he is remembering how the Lord is fulfilling Bhishma's desire. विजयरथ कुटुंब आततोत्रे दुतहैरस्मिनि तच्चेक्षणीये भगवति रतिरस्तु मे मुमुषोः यम्मिह निरीक्षता गताः स्वरूपम्. And Krishna, he is always anxiety to protect the Vijaya, to protect Arjuna's chariot from all directions. So that is the Lord is always in anxiety to protect his devotees. Vijayaratha Kutumba Atatotre. And Atatotre, he taking this one side to control a stick that to control the horses, and he's saying with different sounds to control the horses. Dathairashmi tachekshaniye bhagavati ratirastu me mumushoho yammiha nirikshata gataha swarupam. See how to protect his devotee, how he's taking this one and controlling the horses and to protect him in all directions, and let my mind absorb in that Krishna. And then he is remembering further with his sweet pastimes. Lalita gati vilasa valguhasa pranaya nirikshana kalpitorumanaha krutamanu krutvatyunmadandaha prakriti magan kilayasya gopavadvaha. Bhishma was remembering about Krishna. Lalita gati vilasa valguhasa pranaya nirikshana kalpitorumanaha. He was always enjoying with the gopis, with his moods and with smilings. Vilasa Valguhasa, his smilings, Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpito Romana. And so he was like only one point of attraction for all the gopis. And all these gopis, they're just like a Krutmanu Krutavacha Unmadandaha. They were also intoxicated with the beauty of Krishna. Prakriti Magan Kelayasya Gopavadvaha. And also here, Bhishma Deva wanted to absorb in that Krishna. See, he was, that is the Bhishma's mood. So he is remembering Krishna's pastime. Munikanan Rupavarya Sankulentaha Sadesi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Yesham Arhanam Uppedikshiniyo Mamadrushi Gochara Yesha Viratma. Among all kinds of sages in the Rajasuya sacrifice, at that time, Krishna was selected as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then all these Pandavas, everyone are worshipping. And I was present in that assembly when the Rajasuya sacrifice was happening. I was so fortunate to see Mama Drushi Gochara Yesha Aviratma. I am remembering that Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was worshipped by everyone. And I was present there. I was so fortunate. I am remembering that situation. And I want let that Krishna be only my center of attraction, my mind to be completely absorbed. He's preparing his mind before his body, leaving his body. Tam imam aham ajam sarira bhajam krudi dishtita matma kalpitanam pratidushim eva nekatar kamekam samadhi ghatosmi vidota bheda mohaha. And Krishna, he is the only one existing in all the living entities. And even the bodies are different. He is the only one controlling everyone. Kridi dishtita matma kalpitanam pradidushameva nekatarkamekam samadhigatosmi viduta bheda mohaha. And he is the only one, eternal. And he is the only the shelter. Let my mind completely absorb only one point of attraction. Likewise, Bhishma, he has completely absorbed in thoughts of Krishna when Krishna was standing in front of Bhishma De, Lasat Pit Pate Chaturbhude, Prasannahasa, Arinalochana Lasad, Mukambudyo Janapatha Chaturbhujaha. Likewise, he is meditating on Krishna's face. and absorbed completely with Krishna's pastimes. And then Krishna evam bhagavati mano vag drushti vrittibhihi atmani atmanam avesha so antah swasu uparaman. And he has completely extracted his life and soul from his body and entered into Krishna. That is how he left his body. That is Bhishma, glories of Bhishma Panchaka last 5 days. Krishna evam bhagavati manovag drushti vrittibhihi, mind, words, and his eyesight and also activities. Everything is in the Krishna evam bhagavati, just absorbed and surrendered to Krishna. And he entered into Krishna's abode in the Vaikuntha planets. He was meditating on the four-handed palm. So he entered into one of the Vaikuntha planets. So that is Bhishma's pastime. Okay, so just entered into a bit, took a few minutes. That is from Bhishma Panchaka. Okay, so we shall quickly, if you're all happy, we shall move on to the next part of our program. That is Sloka learning, Srimad Bhagavatam. Before we go into that, so dear devotees, if you have got anything to share or from the announcement side, or you wanted to share anything.
I just said, yeah, very nicely said. Thank you, Lord. Like our business stuti. It's the best death, like, you got it like in front of Krishna. So beautiful.
Yes, Mataji. So that is Bhishma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So we are in the first canto, chapter 2, verse number 20. So can I request dear devotees to take the turns and to recite it? So we shall go in the names reverse order, alphabetical reverse order. Can I request Saranya Mataji to recite this verse 3 times?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगदः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगदः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगदः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully recited. Can you request Radha Sevaka Mataji?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam prasann manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vignanam mukta sangasya jayate. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vignanam mukta sangasya jayate. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vignanam mukta sangasya jayate.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully recited. Can I request Meena Mataji now?
Hare Krishna. एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते.
एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत् तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Gaurangi Mataji next? So beautifully recited. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. So this one in the previous verse, what it means, whenever the mind is completely prasanna, very pleasing, prasanna is enlivening, at that time Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga due to the devotional service, then Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, all the knowledge and science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also at the same time Mukta Sangasya, detachment from the material world, it will jayate, it happens. And then before this verse, we have also understood Tada Rajaha Tamo Bhavaha Kama Loba Dayashaye Cheta Etena Avidham Sitam Satve Prasidati. Sitam Satve Prasidati. So in the previous verse, Sitam Satve Prasidati, there he is completely free. He is in the mode of complete pure goodness. Now, Sutta Goswami says further that whenever in that stage, this is Brahmabhota stage. Brahmabhota Prasannatma. And now, whenever that stage, what happens? Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. And Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. And he would attain all the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so now, this is a translation for this. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, one man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with a devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Okay, that is the beauty of it. So now I request dear devotees, we'll go in the same. Saranya Mataji, would you like to go with the first line? Evam prasanna manaso.
Sure, Prabhu. So, evam thus, prasanna enlivened, manasa of the mind. So, it is just a continuation of the previous verse. So, previous two verses we saw that when a person enters some service to the Supreme Lord or a devotee or a Bhagavatam, he will get the taste for devotional service. So, through devotional service, his mode in the mind, the passion and ignorance will go, and the pure sattvic or goodness will stay steadily, so that all the unwanted desires and lust will go. So this continuation. So thus enlivened. So there will be an enlivenment in the mind, because there will be no passion, no ignorance, only goodness. So thus present enlivenment of the mind. So this is just saying, so because of that, mind will be enlivened. So this is the first saying, evam prasanna manaso. Is it so, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So that is keeping the mind in the steady state. Keeping the mind in the steady state. Otherwise, when there are so many things, material things are going on, we cannot progress in the Krishna consciousness. First of all, those things needs to be bringing down. Material things needs to be bringing down. Then only my first mind needs to be very flattened. First, before we sow any seeds, first we make the ground fertile and make it very nice. Otherwise, if there are so much of rubbish and weeds and everything, whatever we do, we cannot cultivate anything properly. We have to take out all the weeds first and then just fertile the ground and make sure that put the compost in it and make it wet, and then let it mix for a few days with the rains or something, and then once again using the plow, we just make everything. Later on, we put the seeds. That is where the crops will grow. So here, evam prasanna manasa is first detachment from all these things, and mind needs to be completely very pleasant in living. There is no more contamination. And then how does that happens? Can I request Radha Sevka Mataji next?
Bhagavat, that one? No, okay. Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha. So the devotional service of the Lord by contrast of. So okay, so the contrast part is that when we're doing material things, like you said, at that point, our mind is not really fertile. And then devotional service is the kind of antidote. It's what corrects the mind. It's what corrects the mind. So the more devotional service we do, the less we will be engaged in material activity. And then we can raise ourselves to the platform of goodness at first, in the first instance. And then the devotional service will act as it will first there will be peace, and then it will like Prabhu said, it will act as a good fertilizer first, in the first instance. And then once we get to that stage, then it will be easier to be receptive to the connection with Krishna, because we're acting from a platform which is becoming purer, and that's obviously that purity is coming from him as soon as we act in devotional service. And then we will see Krishna more in our life, and our relationship with him will deepen through the act of devotional service, because essentially when we're doing devotional service, we're linking with him, like through the name or through the chanting or through the reading or in the actions that we do. So therefore we're developing our relationship with him. Our other things get loosened, our other attachments and things like that, and then we can just act on a platform. The purer and purer we get, we can act on the platform that it's just whatever I'm doing is an act of devotion to Krishna. But it takes time, and it's not as easy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. So to come to that evam prasanna manaso, what is that? This is Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha, engage oneself in the devotional service. This is very, very important. This is what it happens. Make all these material things neutralized and go further positive. This is also mentions by the activities. Whenever one is infected with the material things, एवं ऋणाम क्रिया योगाः सर्वे संस्कृति हेतवः ता एवात्म विनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. And because it is a infected material infection, that's why we fall down into this material pool, because unlawful desires. But because some way or other we have fall down, now we have to act. When we are acting, we have to act through these senses and all these all these senses, hands, these karnendriyas, jnanendriyas, all these act. But when we are acting, we do not know whether whatever we are doing is good or not. Once again, it may give bad reactions if we are not aware of it. So they're all survey samsruti hetavaha. All these activities are to attach more, it create more material bondage. But when we engage them, evam runam kriya yogaha ta evatma vinashaya kalpante kalpitaha pare. When all these activities completely divert that one into devotional service in towards Krishna, whatever the infected, whatever the things it made the infection to us, the same thing will turn into a remedy or a medicine to the living entity. It is very beautifully said by Narada Muni. Amayo yasha bhotanam jayate yena suvrata tedev hi amayam dravyam na kunati chikichitam. Whenever that material activity is engaged in Krishna's devotional service, it will act as a remedy or medicine so that the soul will be completely evam prasanna manaso. That is Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha, through the devotional service. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. So here in the Sanskrit, evam is prasanna manaso. Prasanna is always pleasant. Manaso, the mind. When we seek mind, the man, manushya, manu, if we see, they're all the same thing. They're only one source, that is the mind. It is a source for the man, manushya, or manus. There is mandir. So many things. They're connecting to mind. Only human have got that mind. Whenever that mind is pleasant, through Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Otherwise, it is mind is disturbed. You cannot see anything properly. See, that's in Sanskrit. So just I request Saranya Mataji, Radha Sevika Mataji. In this Sanskrit words, do you understand or do you have any questions in this one, or to bring out anything from these meanings of these Sanskrit words? And Gaurangi Mataji.
The Bhagavad, again, I think these are like really high things. This is really love for Krishna. This is going deep into, yeah, I don't even know if I'm qualified to speak, but I think Bhagavad Bhakti, it's such an elevated stage, where the absorption in the Lord is so deep, and we can practice that through either meeting with people like Bhagavad, like literally walking Bhagavats. Then we can catch some of that mercy from them. But ultimately, this is something that we must practice and really, really develop our relationship with Krishna through Prayojna, Abhidaya, and Sambandaya. It's very deep. Like, it's easy to just sometimes say something, but to do it, and it's the action of being completely absorbed in Krishna. Because devotional service can only happen when we have a relationship with him, and that we've weeded out so much, like you say, we've weeded out so much of the other things. It can happen in different states. It can happen, when we're going, like, how Krishna says that, when we're going through distress, or if we want something, or if we're looking for him, or if we're searching. They're usually like, we think that that's quite a high stage, but actually that's just the initial starting stage. But then it's the continuous journey, and then on that journey we'll meet people that are much further ahead of us, and we'll meet people that are not so, and we'll meet people that are completely ignorant in that journey to Krishna. And And I think it's about like really developing our own individual relationship with him, and just recognizing that he's a person at all stages. So, doing our purification, but also working on that relationship with him. Like really, understanding that Krishna is everything and there's nothing apart from that, really. And then the service to him becomes easier, and then even all the hard things, it's not they always, because obviously, like depending on what stage you're at, like.
Yes, Mataji. So that is here Bhaga is the it describes the opulence of the Lord. The 6 opulences: Aishwarya, Vairagya, Yasho, Virya, Shriya, Avbodham. So these are the 6 opulences. They are Bhagava. And then because he has got all these opulences, he is called Bhagavat, that Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we engage our activities in connection to that Bhagavat with selfless, then what do? We also derive those qualities in a minute quantity. That's why it is very, very important. So Bhaga, wherever you see Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, these are all having these opulences, completely free from these material things. Thank you, Mataji. Can I request Gauringi Mataji to go for the 3rd line? And then
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Bhagavatam Tattva Vijnanam. Yeah, Prabhuji?
yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Bhagavatam is Bhagavan, Godhead. Tattva means knowledge. Vijnana means Vaigyanik, scientific. So, who believe the supreme power of Godhead, then He gave us knowledge. Then, if we together, all of devotees have sangha, then we do every day prayer, reading, chanting, and everything. Then we got sangha. Then I think God give us knowledge. Who need to how many knowledge He need. God give to us knowledge. Then we need to do sangha, Prabhuji. Uh, I haven't said anything, Prabhuji. That's it from my side, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully said. So if you see our life, either we do good or bad, anything somewhere or other, this body lifespan will be melted very quickly. Where we engage our time is very, very important. I wanted to be very peaceful in the devotional service, in connecting to the Lord, which gives unlimited pleasure and everything else, and knowing that I am a part and parcel of the Lord. That is the knowledge, Tattva Vijnanam, knowing that death is going to take place to the body, and I have to engage my time and everything in the association of Krishna. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. Somewhere, if I engage in the material things, there also this time I'm going to act on me, this body is going to fall down, but it will go through so much of tribulations, bodily pains, mind pains, and it will bring further, it will create so many other problems. It will spread so many material problems and attach the soul to come back to this material world again. Do I need to do that all kinds of things? Go to the this so many factories, work very hard day and night, and making myself disturbed, and come home in the evening, and then we eat. Sometimes Prabhupada says, see, so many people they build houses, home, sweet home, very sweet home. When you're going to the offices and working day and night, not even spending few minutes in your home properly, how can it become sweet home? So this is the Tattva Vijnanam. Knowing all this essence of it is Tattva Vijnanam. And where to spend the time and what kind of activities we have to be engaged. That is Tattva Vijnanam, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. So we need a simple mind to think of it. We don't need to be very philosophical things. If we know that we are going to die, where we need to keep our time and activities, as simple as that. Knowing that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter, and let me offer my obeisances, engage myself in the devotional service. Very simple thing. That is Vijnana, Tattva Vijnana. Even that is simple thing, it includes so much of knowledge behind it. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so one more line. So this is Mukta Sangasya Jayate, and he will be relieved from the material association. And Jayate, it happens, becomes it effective. So now, I hope all the devotees, now you are remembering. Can I request dear devotees, close your eyes and recite this verse now? एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्त योगतः भगवतत्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायते. Okay, Saranya Mataji, close your eyes and then recite this verse. Try. You don't have to be expert.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I will try. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogaha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mataji. So that's it. You have learned it very easily. You have heard a couple of times, you know it. Of course, you can pick sometimes when you don't remember. So, and Radha Sevika Mataji.
Oh God, I'm gonna peek a little bit sometimes, yeah. Evam prasana manaso bhagavad 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 bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. I peeked a little bit.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the way, when I don't peek, that is when I have learned it. Without peeking, when I recite it 3 times, that means I have learned that verse.
That's because you're like much better.
So,
Not.
yeah. Can you request Gaurangi Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, close your eyes and try to recite Mataji, or whatever the way you feel comfort. You can also just speak whenever you need it.
Close eye for Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति विज्ञानम. I can't say Prabhuji, sorry.
You can look Mataji, that's all right. You can look whenever you need it, look at it.
Okay. एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति विज्ञानम भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते. Last one, only Prabhuji. I see properly, otherwise all mistake.
You have tried Mataji, so 70% you have done rightly. And few things, these are sometimes words Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangha Se Jayate. Very simple. So just when we close your eyes and then first look at it attentively and hear once, and then close eyes and then just when you recite it, and then yes, I got it. You do the recitation without looking at it 3 times, you got it. And second, if anyone would like to do that one. Okay, so now hear attentively. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. I request the devotees to recite again.
एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भागवद्भक्तियोगतः भागवत तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. Prabhu, can you please just say it once more?
एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद्भक्ति योगतः भगवत्तत्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायते.
एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भागवत भक्तियोगतः भागवत तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते.
Very beautiful.
एवं
Mataji, Saranya Mataji, would you like to go next?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत् तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. एवं प्रसन्न sorry Prabhu. एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत् तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते. एवं प्रसन्नमानसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत् तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mataji. Gaurinya Mataji, would you like to try again?
Okay, Prabhuji, I will try. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogata bhagavad bhakti. No, Prabhuji. Bhagavad tattva vijnanam manasa. Sorry, Prabhuji, I cannot.
When you need, just look at it, Mataji. So until you are able to tell without looking at, you can just practice it. So that is as simple as that.
This part is easy, but cannot say little bit. Need to read again and again, then I can. Otherwise, this time I cannot, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Dada Sevaka Mataji, want to
I was
go?
just going to say that sometimes if you can put a picture, I think for like females especially, like if you can, I don't know, because our brains work a little bit different. If you can put a picture to the word, like think about all the words you already know, and then remember, this is how I do it. Remember the first letter of each word. So E, manaso. And if you can just get a picture in your mind, like that helps. Evam prasanna manaso. Like if I was just looking at those words, I would start manaso, mind, evam, I, and prasanna means just happy. So if you could just think of a person being happy, and then Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. So Bhagavad, obviously you can just remember Bhagavad Gita or something, and then Bhakti, obviously that's the Bhakti of the Bhagavad, and then Yogataha. If you just remember the word yoga and then just add daha, sometimes like just making things up in your head, and then if you had to remember it, then Bhagavad Tattva. So again, essence of Bhagavad, Vijnanam, so knowledge. And then mukta, if you remember the word mukti, like liberation or something. Sangasya, like you're trying to get out of trouble. Jayate, if you remember that from another verse. Sometimes like associating words with pictures helps, and images in your mind.
Yes, Mataji, that is right. So, and also here, Sadhu Goswami is telling all the summary, all the philosophical points. So it is linked to the previous verse and also next verse, and they are linked together through the sound vibrations. When you're speaking, so all your words are linking together. So it is, if I speak when I'm talking about family, I cannot immediately interfere my office. That is a completely isolated one. But here, the previous verse, Sitam Satye Prasidati. So, and then, so that's Evam is thus. So, Prasanna Manaso, whenever the mind is enlivened and very peaceful, through Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha, and what happens? Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. So here, why, how, through. So these things would be coming in between the linking of these lines and statements. Through Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. And what happens? Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. And what happens later on? Mukta Sangha se jayate. So likewise, this is a complete statement. How it happens? So thus here, and also sometimes we don't see those things, what happens like, and then here what happens here in the third and fourth. These are implicit. So when we recited these verses and again, 3 times, more than 3 times, then the previous verse and this verse and the next verse, the middle verse will be very clearly visible. Likewise, when you recite continuously for 30 days or something, you have got into your heart by heart. Whenever someone is asking, then immediately you would use this verse as a reference. So, evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Okay, so beautiful verse. Okay, so I stop here. Any takeaway points, Mataji, or just how you, of course, it is your reflections. If you don't have any questions, we
I was
shall.
going to say, how did you get to that stage? Like, it's so hard. Like, you know, I get glimpses of it, but how do you get to that stage where you're just, I know, obviously I understand the physical things that we have to do, but what should the mind, like, what was your journey like to get to it?
It is very, it also feels the same thing, Mataji. So the words difficult to remember. They are the same words, familiar words, but coming together and putting the context.
Not just about the verse, but how did you get to that stage of, because you're so peaceful and steady and stable and
so one side the material tribulations, the samsara. So that one side material tribulations, they will direct one to come to take the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna, nothing else. There is no one else can rescue us from the samsara. That is one thing. Whatever we do, it doesn't give any good results in the material things. That we have to realize. That is second. That is the reason we need to have a हेतुत्वम् अपि akatari, which is causing all these pains and tribulations. When we understand those reasons, and when you try to, okay, let me put my time into reading of scriptures, Swadhyaya Purusharchanam, to worship the Lord by reading the scriptures. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. When we read scriptures, I don't want to see, especially watching of any videos of which is not Krishna thing, that is completely stopped without any kind of, it's either it is a BBC video or something, it is a factual video or something else. And when we go into the high state, never ever try to observe anything at all. Don't try to understand anything at all. That is one more thing. Just you are going it, either you're going to office or coming from office. That's all. You don't see anything else. Even though so many people are around, in and around you, even though they're dressed very nicely, your eyes doesn't get attracted towards them. Going office and coming. So this is my duty. Attracted means it is just going to attachment, further attachments. It will waste our time. It doesn't mean anything to us. It will waste our time. And once we come home, and then when you are engaging in the devotional service, when you are reading scriptures, then these verses would retain in the mind, in the heart. And loudly we have to recite these things like you are doing now. So couple of times until we remember it without speaking. When we are able to recite at least 3 times and remembering who is speaking, why he is speaking, who is receiving this knowledge, and what is the essence of it. When we just put such kind of questions, it retains in our heart and it will never ever go.
I think that you've been through so much purification probably of your own, and I think it's difficult. Like for me, it's difficult because I'm at work all the time. I'm teaching. I have to look at other materials, and I think that's what causes me so much suffering. But I think there's another journey that you must have taken to get to that point where you can just cut everything off and just focus. Like I've tried it. That's what I'm saying. Like I've tried to even just leave all the material things behind and just focus on this. But then the material things you have to pay attention to as well. It's so difficult.
But yes, Mataji. So it's difficult, but there everything, whatever we think it is personal, everything needs to be given up. That is the Krishna's instruction. Sarva dharman parityajya. And as much as possible, we have to stick unto our duty. Swadharma namahiyasa. And then this is na athrimshena. We do not kill anything or disturb any other animals, like any people who are. We do not hurt anyone through our words, mind, or our activities. And then gradually we understand that everyone is, even though in front of you there is a bug going on, that is also Krishna's child, but because its body is different, we may feel sometimes get disturbed, but let it live. It doesn't decrease our lifespan. It just creates a disturbance in the mind. That's all. If we just understand it is also child of Krishna, then we don't do it anything. But let it go in its own way, show its path to go outside. That's all. But when we are doing, for example, if children are there, if children are getting disturbed, then we have to come into the picture. Okay, yes, this bug is making the children disturbed. So let it go into its own place. And then we come into there and then somewhere or other send that bug out of our place to send it to its own playlist. So sometimes, na athihrimshena, we should not do any kinds of unnecessary violence. Violence may be needed sometimes, but not unnecessary things. When there is optional, we do not do it. I mean, the normal situations, one has to follow all the regulative principles. There are some situations where it is not possible. Those are exceptional. When very, I'm doing doctor is doing some duty or doing operations, we have to focus on it. So that is required. And one person king is going for a hunting in the forest and he gets thirst and hunger. At the time, his mood is different. He cannot just simply sit and follow the regulative principles of dharma at the time. It may not be possible. He may do something. So that is all right. But in the normal situations, and there is no tensions, no anxiety, no urgency at the time, he has to follow all the regulative principles that is mentioned. Then everything will be peaceful. So we understand that we are aligning to the Krishna's instructions, Guru's instructions. As much as possible, we are following it.
Yeah.
And also instruction of Guru to read the scriptures and also spread. And especially when this learning of the verses, it happens when you share with others only.
Okay.
When we try to learn by ourselves, it is very difficult in the beginning. When we try to make others to recite, then we also remember it. And so that's why Prabhupada has said number of times, a preacher has got a unique position. He understands. because he has to explain those things. When he explains, things are going behind him for himself, for his purity. In Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita at the end, whoever is preaching, for them pure devotional service is guaranteed. In the 18th chapter. So this is the 18th chapter. In the last, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And here, see, this pure devotional service. One who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, a pure devotional service is guaranteed. At the time, he will come back to me. This happens when we are reciting these verses to others to remember this one. These verses, transcendental sound vibrations, they are formed in such a way, once you know it, you will never ever forget. It will come for remembrance life after life. They are directly breath of the Lord, especially Bhagavad Gita. They have come from the mouth of the Lord. And the Vedas, they have come from the breath of the Lord. They are always in the cosmic manifestation, in the sound vibrations. It is very subtle form that will only can pierce this material world to enter into the spiritual world. That is the only path. So, yes, Mataji. So practice recitation of these verses, then automatically one can understand very easily. Okay, so if you're all happy, we are already 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. We can conclude if you're happy and continue with further japa.
Prabhu, thank you so much for explaining. You just have such a lovely, beautiful way of explaining everything, and it makes sense, and it brings so much peace to us, and just so much joy, and we get so much from attending your classes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. So it is your reflections. It is very beautiful, very enthusiastic to learn. That's why Krishna is arranging somewhere or other. Devotees come together and discuss. That is the beauty of it.
Yeah, but it's you as well. Like, I know I wouldn't be able to. I know what I'm like. Like, you have to be. Yeah, I'm very sensitive. Like, I will just. I won't even sometimes sit with someone if I don't trust them, or like, yeah, you're like, it's really nice to be in association of you.
It's all devotees, Mataji. So all devotees are exalted souls are here. All good, only good things, auspicious
And
things.
Gaurangi Mataji, like, Gaurangi Mataji, I need to see you. I need, like, yeah, it gives me like it's like pain relief for me, to be honest.
Mataji
Hare
is
Krishna.
a molten gold. Gaurangi is the molten gold. Mataji always pure. No entering into the speculative things discussion. Only pure devotional service, chanting, doing kirtan, and recitation. As simple as that is the purity of it. That is Gaurangi.
Yes, Prabhuji, this is all Bhakta Sangha. Then you give more than more recitation, everything, Prabhuji. You give us very nice, beautiful program. Then little bit I do understand right now. Now I can recite it without book, Prabhuji. I can. I just now uh, read. Then I practice too this verse. Uh, then now is I think this one is easy one. That's why I got Prabhuji now. So thank you, Prabhuji, and Mataji give me this sangha. She join this Oxbridge Gaura Sangha. That's why I am here. Otherwise, I'm alone. Then I cannot learn nothing. Just I went sometime Nepalese group in Nepal, so they joined me. That's why someone more I learned from there. That's it, probably in group. That's it, probably.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. So this is the science. We need to reflect everything, all the sense, what happens, these turning points in their life. That happens only through the devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so shall conclude it now. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय, श्रील
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की जय।
Okay.
Jai.
Hare Krishna conscious day, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri